Plan the parade because this one trade just changed the entire landscape of the NHL. As everyone knows, Mikko Rantanen has been a topic of conversation because of his contract negotiations with the Avalanche, but yesterday, the team finally made their decision, opting not to pay him and instead trading him to Carolina. So let's break down this 3-team trade and why this is so big not only for the Carolina Hurricanes, but for the entire playoff picture this year and who we should consider as the favorite to win the cup. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect the Avalanche to actually move on from Rantanen, but after Draisaitl signed that massive extension in Edmonton, I started to have my suspicions about the plausibility of them actually putting ink to paper with Moose. Well, here we are a couple of months into the season, and it seems like the Avalanche have made their decision. So let's break down this 3-team trade and see who won in this one, and whether or not the Colorado Avalanche made the right decision here before ultimately not letting him walk in free agency. But before we get into today's video, if you guys have been enjoying the content lately, go ahead and hit that like button now and subscribe for more hockey stuff like this. And with all that being said, let's talk about this massive NHL trade. So first, let's break down the trade and all of the details within it. This blockbuster deal included 3 teams, the Colorado Avalanche, Carolina Hurricanes, and Chicago Blackhawks. Beginning with Carolina, they will receive Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall. Colorado will receive Martin Necas, forward Jack Drury, a 2025 second-round pick, and a 2026 fourth-round pick, while the Chicago Blackhawks will retain 50% of Rantanen's salary and receive a 2025 third-round pick from the Hurricanes for Hall with the salary retention. Rantanen is currently making $9.25 million, a salary that will be split between the Chicago Blackhawks and Carolina Hurricanes. However, this is the final season of his current contract, and he's due for a massive pay raise this offseason. Over the past 3 seasons, only 5 players have tallied more points than Rantanen's 273, so it's pretty obvious that he's going to command a contract well over $12 million once the offseason happens. With Rantanen needing a major pay bump, the Avalanche had a serious decision to make, and in exchange for him, they decided to get a more cost-controlled player in Necas, who could likely sign a lesser deal and allow the Avalanche to build around MacKinnon a little bit easier. This past summer, trade rumors did swirl around Necas, but he ended up signing a 2-year $13 million deal to remain with the Hurricanes. At least that was for the time being. With a new contract in hand, the 26-year-old is on pace for a career year with 16 goals and 39 assists in 49 games played. This should only improve even more playing alongside players like Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar. Rantanen is 2 years older than Martin Necas, and this gives the Carolina Hurricanes something that they've seriously lacked within the past couple of seasons, an elite goal scorer with strong finishing talent. Rantanen is a 16.3% career shooter, and had 55 goals in the 2022-23 season to go along with his other 5 30-goal mark years. He also looks like he's going to be locking up a 6th year with over 30 goals with already 25 on the season. So now that you understand the details and players involved in this deal, let's kind of give my general thoughts and opinions on this. So beginning with the Carolina Hurricanes, this was sort of a no-brainer. Martin Necas signed that deal, but you weren't sure if he was going to be able to replicate what's happening this season. And when you see that there's a talent like Mikko Rantanen available to trade for, you just have to pull the trigger and make that deal. 1 for 1, I think they obviously are the biggest winners in this deal, but it's all going to be dependent on whether or not Mikko Rantanen re-signs with the organization. Carolina is a great market, but it's not really known for acquiring free agents or being a destination that free agents really want to go to. But lately, with them being such a solid organization, I could very well see Rantanen re-signing there, but it's still going to cost you a lot of money to keep him in town. As for the Colorado Avalanche, this is where things kind of get juicy. On one hand, how could you let this happen? Mikko Rantanen was the perfect 1B option to Nathan MacKinnon, and I feel like you probably should have just paid him whatever you wanted, at least that's what most fans are thinking. But on the other hand, I kind of get why they did this. Rantanen is a tremendous offensive player, but at the same time, if you offer him that Draisaitl contract, it's going to stranglehold your ability to adequately build around your core players. putting you completely up against the cap every season because you're paying your star players so much money. Again, obviously they could figure things out, but I don't really hate this move for the Avalanche. They understood that they didn't want to pay Rantanen and Draisaitl money, and they stuck to their guns here, deciding that if you're not going to accept the contract around what Nathan MacKinnon is making, then we're going to trade you and not just let you walk for nothing. Oftentimes we see teams let their best players leave without acquiring any assets back. So I think if they weren't going to be able to re-sign him or come to a new deal, then it makes a lot of sense why they would try to get the most that they could back. As for Martin Necas, he's a great player, and having a career year, it's only going to get better playing alongside Nathan MacKinnon. The only tricky thing about this deal that makes me a bit curious was how much influence did Nathan MacKinnon have on this move? Is he happy about this? Is he upset about it? What's the vibe going to be in the locker room moving forward? Just a couple of years ago, you had one of the best rosters with Landeskog, Rantanen, MacKinnon, and Makar all in the structure of your system. And now, Landeskog's career is in question, Mikko Rantanen is gone, and Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar are the only two left from that core four group of solid players. The Avalanche also got back Drury in this deal, and yes, that's a nice addition as well to your bottom six, so it gives you a bit more depth. And I fully expect that the Avalanche are not going to be done with the amount of trades that they make this season, with Frank Saravelli saying that there is another deal likely to happen within the next 48 hours. So who knows if the Avalanche are going to be in on players like JT Miller or other superstars that have been rumored to be in a lot of these trades. Like I said, it's a very tricky situation, but I kind of respect what the Avalanche did here. They understood what was happening with Rantanen, and they tried to maximize what they could do in a trade before letting him walk in free agency because they just didn't feel like they wanted to pay him that Draisaitl contract. As for the Hurricanes, I feel like they won this trade completely. They had an asset in Martin Necas, who we aren't sure what he's going to play like in the future. He could completely drop off in his production, and this could be a one-off year. So they maximized his trade value and acquired a player who is levels above him. Now, I'm not saying that that takes away anything from Necas, but let's just be honest. Rantanen is a more solidified star in this league. The only question for them, like I said, is if he's going to re-sign. If he does decide to stay with the organization, then you can pair him alongside Sebastian Aho, and will likely have one of the best top lines in hockey. Now, for the playoffs, they also acquired Taylor Hall, who should give them some more depth and skill within their lineup. So the Carolina Hurricanes addressed their biggest need, and as long as they can re-sign Rantanen, I don't see any problem with this deal for them. As for the Chicago Blackhawks, I think they actually made out pretty nice in this deal as well. Retaining 50% of Mikko Rantanen's salary in order to acquire a bit more for Taylor Hall was a smart move. You're not making the playoffs this year, so might as well maximize your asset return in this deal and try to get a little bit more for Taylor Hall, who was a depreciating asset for you coming off that injury and not producing at a high level like we typically see from this player. So overall, when it comes to this trade, I think it was good for everyone involved, but only time will tell how this deal ages. Will Martin Necas continue to produce at this high level? Will Mikko Rantanen sign back in Carolina? And will we see Taylor Hall start to play at a bit more of a high level while he's in Carolina? These are all questions that we're just going to have to wait and see, but for right now, I just want to hear what you guys think about this deal. Do you think that the Colorado Avalanche made a smart move here, not signing Rantanen and giving themselves a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to acquiring players? Or do you think that this was a massive mistake that is going to take away any chance for them to win a cup this year? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and let's discuss this topic a little bit more. As always, thank you guys for watching these videos. Make sure you like this one and subscribe to the channel for more stuff like this. I will see you guys in the next episode.